A wise man once said that music is worth 1,000 words. Or something like that. How often do you think about audio expression? Oftentimes we take in audible information without giving it much of a second thought, willing to just trust our neurological receptors to confirm if what we just heard was correct or not. Even beyond that initial emotional connection, we recognize characteristics in music and sound design that have the detail to literally explain world building, develop a story, and allow us to empathize with characters. Trust me, there's more to music than just what meets the ear.
If you listen closely, even the music I play in the gift shop has subtle hidden messages. Buy more keychains! Buy more keychains!
Alright, by the time Twilight Princess came around, Nintendo had already moved away from strictly 8-bit music. At least for the time being. With a lot of their games focusing on smaller ensembles, highlighting one or two primary voices in each piece of music, making their choice of instrumentation paramount in coloring the mood and defining a character. Now you're probably thinking, that's a lot of music. And you would be right. So I've chosen only a few pieces to go over in each subcategory, allowing you, your imagination, and musical context clues to tell the rest of the tale. Alright, this piece isn't technically in-game, but that doesn't matter because it's integral in highlighting the tone for Twilight and Hyrule. Plus, it's a variation on the main theme, and I don't know a single soul that skipped this title screen. And you don't either. You don't. Don't lie to me. This piece is in two parts, the known and the unknown. Beginning with what we know, we get a slower, more simplified variation on the main theme. Let's talk instrumentation. The simplicity of this arrangement emphasizes the monophonic style the vocals are sung in, a style often associated with the sound of Gregorian chants and early church music of the late Middle Ages and early Renaissance period. This variation relies on dissonance and the resolution of suspended notes to further the uneasiness and build anticipation, only to resolve it with a howl. It's this sort of attention to detail that makes it so drawing, and why we weren't able to skip past that screen. After the resolution comes the unknown, introducing us to the Twilight realm with a short but unresolved voicing of Midna's theme. However, in your first playthrough, you probably didn't know that. So now we wonder, whose theme is this? What role does it play, and when will we hear it in-game? I also think it's really cool how it comes after Link's howl, because Link is the link. He's the link between worlds. Okay, I'm gonna speed it up so we can get through more than one piece this time. Reminiscent of Central Town ambiance in other Zelda entries, a lot of Auridon's music is playful, energetic, lighthearted, and silly, which pulls us out of the trance we were in from the introduction and into a world of a peaceful Hyrule. At least for now. Don't tell them. Energetically so, through rhythms such as these, as well as through the short and bouncy sound of styles such as pizzicato. You just can't ask for a better choice of instrumentation for a species centered around rocks. And for some reason that makes me really happy. It's heavily percussive, with brass accents, sturdy yet bouncy. The bounce of the rhythm plays with the natural oomph of the timpani, and pairing it against drier percussion like the snare or wooden keyboards gives it a nice contrast. A contrast that's easily translated to the Goron. A group of quirky, good-natured fellas who, at the end of the day, take their roles, home, and traditions very seriously. Moving along, we get 3 variations on this theme in the game, labeled as Hyrule Castle Tower, and Hyrule Castle Tower Top. Tongue twister, try it. And each of them is a variation on the original work from A Link to the Past.
Zelda, I'm coming to your rescue.
Here you will find 2 layers, the bottom of which is a march that quickly becomes more reminiscent of a funeral march. And the prominent layer is the king's theme, or the monarch theme, because in this game there is no king, it's Zelda. I find it interesting how we seem to lose the spirit of the castle by means of the march, a march that could represent its strength, its people, or both. And instead we're left with a stagnant shell of our monarch theme, haunted by an ominous step-like rhythm that leads to Ganon's theme. Okay. This is where it gets fun, because remember, this is your unknown. The Twilight Realm is clearly styled after early 20th century experimental and avant-garde music. If you're unfamiliar with what that means, essentially, they pushed boundaries, all of them. Anything could be music. Everything was music. And nothing was music. Literally. Remember that time that a guy taped a banana to a wall, called it art, and then somebody bought it for way too much money? It's that, but music. And that's how we arrived at music with no key, music left up to chance, and nothing. Right. Okay, music history lesson out of the way. I'm sure you immediately tracked that change in atmosphere. The Twilight Realm is characterized through synths and heavily processed instrumentation. That's hard to say. With natural instrument voices being a rare occurrence to pull you back into reality. I mean, just listen to these strings. They're extra gritty through the mixing, through naturally dissonant chords, and an effect that kind of sounds like they took random clips and ran them backwards, which, wouldn't be all that surprising. The juxtaposition and lack of direction in this piece leaves you wandering and lost in our unknown. So it sounds like a mishmash of nothing, right? It just kind of sounds like controlled noise, leaving us uneasy and constantly on edge. These airy gasps feel as though they're sucking you into a dance with dissonant flurries adrift in an atonal void. Which makes about as much sense as this piece. Okay, hear me out. I kind of love it actually, because it's so weird. Either way, it successfully manages to pull you out of Hyrule and into a state of disarray, which is on par with the plot. The musical world building in Nintendo's Twilight Princess covers not only one, but 2 realms, blending well with the imagery and story to make you feel a part of the game, creating moments and memories that will forever be filled with real emotion. And there may even be more to it. Alright, get out of here. Integral into introduce. Take that as fact. Chickens are evil. I can't. No. It's. Have you heard nothing? I've heard nothing. I don't recommend it.